This week I'm going to review some issues in the New 52. This is DC's rebooted continuity. For the most part, characters are same basic ideas, but new stories, new settings, some updated background, and everything starting over with number one, because that makes money. So first off, I have my favorite of this month, Superman in Action Comics. It goes back to Superman's early 30s roots, when he was a social crusader, go around fighting slumlords, corrupt bosses, that sort of thing, instead of space monsters. The art's good. It's cool to see Superman outside of just the flying around in tights, beating up space aliens. The bad side, we have Captain Atom. Captain Atom was the inspiration for Dr. Manhattan and the Watchmen. But in this Captain Atom, they're ripping off of Dr. Manhattan for Captain Atom. They're going in a weird circle there. And it just doesn't work. It's what you saw in Watchmen, but not good. The good side, we have Batman Detective Comics. This is set several years before the beginning of events in the rest of the comics. It shows one of Batman's earliest encounters with the Joker when he was still an unknown serial killer, not just, the supervillain everyone knows who he is. Very entertaining, kind of violent, but good. Bad side, we have Suicide Squad. This is Harley Quinn. You probably remember her from the cartoons or other Batman comics when she wasn't a stripper ninja. The story is muddled. It's hard to tell who's who in the art. It just doesn't work. Good side, we have Green Lantern Corps. Unlike all the other comics, this one pretty much continues from where the previous Green Lantern comics left off. That said, it starts basically with the characters at page one, establishes who they are, what they're doing, and why they've left Earth to go have adventures in space. It's good. Bad, Static Shock. From the cartoon and comic series, although dropping more of the adult themes from the comic. It's like a bad ripoff of Spider-Man. He lives in New York, has a cool job at a lab, and has high-flying adventures, but he complains about not having money for a car despite the fact that he can fly. The dialogue is bad. It's a bad ripoff of Spider-Man. The good, we have Animal Man. Animal Man is back to living at home with his wife and kids. He's given up superheroing for some time at the beginning of this, but gets called back into it. We see the beginnings of a big overarching story involving his daughter and these weird, horrible, undead animal monster things. They're some of the coolest creatures in the comics this month. The bad, we have Grifter. Grifter, I don't know what's going on. He's got issues with his brother. He may or may not be possessed by aliens. He used to be in the Delta Forces, then he spent 10 years as a con man, and then he decides to put on a mask because he hears voices that tell him that people are aliens. It's weird. Resurrection Man. A minor character who's been given his own comic. He has the power to come back from the dead each time with a new superpower. The gimmick is that because he's died and come back so many times, his soul is so special and shiny and powerful that both heaven and hell are fighting each other to steal him. There's a really cool demon in here, and the angels are pretty cool too. The artwork is really, really good. On the bad, we have Frankenstein, Agent of Shade. Again, it's a Hellboy ripoff. They bring back some old DC characters that were classic monsters that fought in the war, but when they add it all together, it's like a bad 60s Hellboy ripoff. Just doesn't work. Another bad one, Deathstroke. He's a mercenary. He's a badass. We know this because the comic tells us this twice. It's very violent. It serves no purpose. It's just to show, oh, he's such a tough guy, but you don't care. He's annoying. It's a throwback to 90s comics. On the good, we have Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman struggles for writing, but this latest incarnation really, really works. The punchline is, someone on Earth is pregnant with another one of Zeus's bastard babies. So Hera's trying to kill them and creating all kinds of horrible monsters, and all of the other gods are getting involved. And Wonder Woman is the only person who can bridge the gap between the worlds and help save this woman and her unborn child. Catwoman, very, very bad. While as Wonder Woman is a powerful, empowering representation of women in comics, Catwoman's basically a stripper. She runs around, she sleeps around, she pretends to be a whore, and at times is one. It's terrible. The last one, an all-new character, Batwing. Past the events of the previous Batman comic I mentioned, Batman has started to basically franchise out, setting up Batman in other countries, including in the Democratic Republic of Congo. It's set in a fictional city with a police officer who's trying to clean up the corruption and massive crime. But because the government is so corrupt, he has to work outside while maintaining his day job as a police officer. It sounds stupid on paper. It's Batman, but in Africa. But when you read it, it works, and the art is fantastic. It's this painted almost kind of style. It just looks very cool. And I can't recommend it highly enough for something that I thought was just going to be terrible. Well, like I said, there are some good things, some bad things. There's a whole lot of stuff that's just in between, same stuff, different day, or 90% same stuff, different day. Those are the high and low